Hey everyone, I'm Tim Huff, and welcome back to Leadership in the Moment. We've been exploring a three-part series of authentic leadership. The first dimension of which we looked at last time with Richard Hicks, who describes his purpose-based leadership approach. The second dimension that we're going to be looking at this time is around passion, a passion-based leadership approach, which is our second dimension of authentic leadership. So I had a chance to talk to Dolores Mears, the Chief Information Officer for Hensel Phelps Construction Company located in Colorado. And she, I think, is a great example of how to use passion as a great way to lead others in an authentic way. So let's listen into my conversation with Dolores Mears. All right, Dolores, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Tim. I'm doing well. You?
We are talking about authentic leadership. And I like to define authentic leadership in three primary dimensions. The first being purpose, the second being passion, and the third being core values. And today I'm really anxious to talk to you about passion because I really think of you as just a wonderful example of how passion can result in a true authentic leadership style. So I'm really anxious to talk to you. And I ran across a quote recently that I'd like to get your take on. And this is from a guy by the name of Bill George, who wrote a book on authentic leadership. And the quote is, "Passion for your purpose comes when you're highly motivated to do your work because you believe in its intrinsic worth and you can use your abilities to maximum effect." So I'm interested. What do you think of that quote, and how does passion play out in your leadership style?
Yeah, I love the quote. I think the quote's amazing. I think passion for a purpose is something that comes out in my leadership style a lot, right? I have a passion to serve the business. And in our case, we're in operations and construction. And so the passion to serve the business, to serve the operational teams as much as possible, just emanates through or um, is illuminating everything that we do, right? It is our purpose. It's why we do what we do. And then having that passion and expressing that passion, I think rallies people around the causes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you get you have so many great examples of demonstrating a good solid passion. Can you think of an example recently where you had to bring out the passion that's within your leadership style to influence a team to go about accomplishing a mission?
Yeah, thank you for asking. We had a very large data center outage, and the outage actually was the cause of the outage was a third party application and part of connectivity. Unfortunately, the team's reaction to that was, well, that's third party, and so I'm not really accountable for it. I can't really do anything about it. And so the team kind of backed off of it. And so I made this very passionate plea, if you will, for the fact that even though it wasn't our responsibility directly, we are accountable to the business. We're accountable to our operations team to keep the business running. And so being passionate about what is happening and getting people engaged led them to find other solutions. What are some workarounds? How do we approach this differently? What can I do to help that third party? Even though I'm not responsible for it, I'm accountable for it.
Mm.
And so that rallying people around a cause or a passionate cry, I think, is sometimes important to engage them and get the best out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I always also like to think about in is our roles as leaders is one thing to have a passion-based approach in accomplishing a mission and rallying people towards a mission. It's
Yeah.
also something else to instill that kind of passion in others, so you can help build other authentic leaders, so they can spread the goodness of authenticity. What would you
Yeah.
say is some of the ways in which we can help build that kind of passion in our junior leaders?
Yeah. So that emotional intelligence of how to use your passion, right? And how to use it purposefully. Because it can't be overused, right? It can't be out of control. And as a coach Wooden would say, right? If you let your emotions run away from you, you will be outplayed, right? You have to keep control. But being able to express and be transparent with some passion for people often gets them to come out of their own shells, which isn't always easy for some of the folks in technology, right? We tend to be a little more introverted. We tend to be controlled. So, what I would say is connect with the hearts and minds of people, however you do it, and whatever that authentic voice is for you as a leader. But be okay in letting some of that passion out and letting some of it be more demonstrative so you can get that connection.
Yeah, that's good. That's especially to tie in with making sure that you're your own person and instilling
Yeah.
that in others so that they can be free to be their own people too. That's really good. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, Dolores, thank you so much for being with me in the moment here, and I really appreciate it. And you're an authentic leader, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you in the future.
Thank you, Tim. It's always a pleasure.
When Dolores was talking about the data center outage that her team experienced, I almost had a visual reaction there because, anybody in IT who's lived through a data center outage, that can be really high adventure. That'll wake you up in the morning. Dolores actually mentioned something I think is really important with respect to understanding what passion based leadership is all about when she was describing emotions and keeping emotions under control. There may be a misconception about a passion-based leadership approach in that it's all about letting your emotions fly and just having an emotional reaction to almost everything. That's not it at all. It's allowing your emotions to be within control, but bringing that passion into your leadership style and allowing others to see just how much you care about the situation, about the people, about whatever happens to be going on. It's a really important dimension there. And, passion can be so powerful as our second dimension that we looked at here for authentic leadership. So thank you all very much for joining me, and look forward to next time when we look at our third dimension of authentic leadership.